So
Hello
welcome to
everyone.
welcome to today's live discussion on AI in business communication, where we explore the ethical, strategic, and practical implication of using AI for messaging and engagement. So this live discussion will be exploring the ethical and strategic use, how business communication and its impact on its transparency, trust, creativity, and professional responsibility in the organization. So before we begin, I would like to ask all the attendees to actively participate and question throughout the session. It will help to keep the live discussion engaging and informative. Also, I would like to ask the attendees to check out the courses. Some of the courses are Executive Diploma in Business Communication, Basics of Business Communication, Mastering Cross-Culture Business Communication, and Diploma in Business Administration. Additionally, we are delighted to announce that a certificate of participation will be provided to all the attendees at the end of the session. Your commitment throughout this session is needed to make this live discussion valuable. And thank you once again for being a part of this live discussion. So I would like to introduce our esteemed panelist, Dr. Simio. He is a highly professional, accomplished public sector leader currently serving in Regional Medical Officer of Tanga with a degree of medicine, public health, law, project management, and he has 13 years of experience in leadership experiences across health system, procurement, logistics, and governance. And he is also having international exposure in 18 countries. We also have Mr. Pilgrim. He is a business and finance professional with 20 years of experience across mining, government, private, and NGO sectors. Currently a finance manager and acting head of procurement. He has served key board committees specialized in accounting, MIS optimization, operational strategy, and he has a dual MBA in management. So I would like to acknowledge everyone to be a part of this live discussion. So join us and let's the discussion begin. Krishna, can you go to the next slide? So I think everyone has joined. So before we start, I would like to ask and go with one interesting question that if you have an AI assistant at work, what could you do and only one thing perfectly? What would you ask the AI to do? So I would like to have the answer in the chat box. Krishna, can you see the answers? If chat box, I think.
We have many answers coming up. People are actually still joining. So,
Okay, okay. Can you go to the second slide? I think you are in the first.
okay, give me a moment. Okay, I hope. Yeah, someone want you to repeat the question.
So I have asked that if you have an AI assistant in work, what would you ask it to do perfectly? Only one thing.
So people say they want to review and summarize reports and schedule tasks,
Okay,
and they want them to do business letters and
okay,
rephrase the reports, check grammar. Perhaps that's the most common use people do, and draft letters, summarize bulky document, and I would ask it to help me to plan my schedule and draft my budget. So that's what our audiences have to say. Key points on
so many
meetings
things,
or minutes.
so many things.
So many more answers are coming up.
email job description, drafting answers. Yeah, mostly automating, I guess. The job would be mostly automating rather than doing manual tasks.
Right.
And I think AI is going to do that, and it is going in that direction. And today's topic is mostly on the ethical concern. Uh, so, Krishna, can you go to the second slide? That
The
interesting
previous one?
facts.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So AI is already being implemented. It is impressive, but according to 2024 Deloitte report, some data privacy concern has been taken, has been a concerning part of Gen AI use. Out of that, 72% respondents ranked the data privacy as the top three concern of generative AI. So generative AI is one of the concerns that has been taken seriously in data privacy. So I would like to ask Dr. Jaffet and Pilgrim that how would you consider generative AI to be one of the important things if ethical consideration is being taken care of? If ethical consideration is one of the priority, how do you think?
Thank you. Let me be the first to toast. I understand that technology is one of the swiftly advancing tool in the current world. Um, I think there are things that we have to consider when you want to use generative AI. One is the regulatory framework. We need to set limits in regulatory framework so that we cannot infringe the rights, privacy, and data protection to the clients. The second thing, when we consider about the regulatory framework, there has to be internal business protocol. We have to establish a protocol instrument that will lead as an interface between the organization and the clients. We understand that the generative AI does not consider the emotional part of connection between the corporate body and the clients. Then establish such protocol will give us an insight of the feedbacks from the clients with respect to what we offer as the organization. And the third thing is about the override of privacy and the issues of cybersecurity. So we understand generative AI can be used in different disciplines. I have been being as a medical specialist who is also multidisciplined in other disciplines. I see generative AI can be misleading if taken as a direct coup in the health industry without control measures, because it could be a garbage of materials regarding the issues of medicine that could mislead some of those who pursue such professionalism. So generative AI should be controlled in protocols and regulatory framework. I submit.
Okay, so Krishna, can you go to the next slide and you can continue with the primary questions? And Pilgrim, if you have any thought, you can please say.
Thank you, Aga and Christina. I wish to acknowledge the doc for his contribution. Indeed, we cannot do away with AI. It is here to stay. And I think organizations are positioning themselves to make meaningful, productive use of AI. But as he has highlighted, I think those are very critical considerations for a professional and ethical use of AI in terms of the regulatory framework, in terms of the protocols, and we see that even under the UNESCO is advocating for responsible use of AI as such. So yes, even as organizations are making use of these systems, we need to ensure transparency and accountability. In this case, you discover that some black boxes around artificial intelligence which have to be managed. And that lack of transparency creates a challenge in terms of identity and also potential errors for bias. Yeah, a number of solutions, of course, could be advocated. If, for example, creating auditing systems around artificial intelligence, I think that is also key. And also just ensuring that the clients have some level of control in terms of their interaction as far as business communication is concerned. Yeah, that would be my addition. And also just to mention that this should not actually create fear in terms of job displacements. I know that there are other stakeholders that they may consider this to be a threat in terms of job displacement because of the automation that it actually brings. But we can then transform that into opportunities, view it as an opportunity for staff, employees to refocus their time on more creative, business critical roles, reskilling employees, providing some support mechanism for their roles so they can build efficiencies and, in a way operations are done. My submission, thank
you. Yes. Krishna, you can continue with the slide,
Sure.
with the questions.
Yeah, but before that, I would just like to have a little brief on the blind spots that we tend to ignore while using AI. So before that, I would really thank Dr. Japheth and Mr. Pilgrim for being a part of this webinar, and your answers are definitely insightful. So moving ahead, so as we can, everyone knows like using AI has been like a part of the daily routine. Okay, AI tools like ChatGPT, Grammarly, and Salesforce, Einstein are like transforming professional work helping people and write more effectively, respond faster, just like our audiences mentioned. Okay, so they use it for summarizing, report writing. So, however, there are ethical concerns that users must be aware of actually. So, the first here that we see is the data privacy and consent. So, the AI tools often process user data, raising concerns about how data is collected, stored, and used, specifically when it is used without the consent of the user. And so definitely the people must be aware of it, and the algorithmic bias, of course. So since many of them may not be aware of this, that the AI systems can actually unintentionally reflect or amplify the biases. Okay, they are actually trained on that. Okay, so use the kind of content that we are providing. Okay, and they provide the answers based on what we actually give them. So they are basically trained that, and that can sometimes be unfair and discriminatory. And of course, about the transparency in communication. So when AI assists in creating or editing content, it is important to be clear that about what AI generated, or to maintain the honesty in the communication. And lastly, what we have here is the authenticity and the authorship. So over reliance on AI might be a little, make us fall into some, in some kind of a problematic situation. So definitely, human supervision is required, because definitely, although AI is near to perfect, but then it's not completely perfect. Definitely, we need a human eye on it. Okay, to just recheck whatever is provided is what we require it or not. Okay, whether the results are up to the mark or not. So moving ahead, we'd like to have some questions for our panelists. So we would like to have their insights. So I would like to address this question to Dr. Japheth. So, Dr. Japheth, how can professionals ensure transparency when they use AI to draft or respond to client communications? So that would be my question to you.
Okay, thank you. First and foremost, as an organization, should have a client service charter that describes what are the rights of a client and what are the responsibilities of the client. When it comes to transparency, I guess we need to define the cultural differences. Using AI in Asian countries and using AI in Western countries in Africa, these are three different spots using AI. So the level of transparency should also consider the use of language and the entry point of consent when it comes to a person who wants to use, if it is a product or if it is a note or announcement from such a corporate body. And this should be really considered. Transparency also has to be limited with respect to age bands. We understand that jurisprudential theories give us insight that there is a distinct change in generation after every 2 decades. As of now, with respect generally in the world, we have 5 to 6 generations differently platformed on the planet Earth. So the transparency should consider these age bands. What the millennial has to hear probably could be quite different from what the Gen Z has to hear from such a particular organization. So I understand the professionals using AI in such a client communication should also consider such cultural differences. I understand there are also religious issues that have to be considered when it comes to the issue of transparency. Not everything can be put openly to every context. So it should be something which is contented to the respective context. I submit.
Okay. Thank you so much for your answer, Dr. Japheth, and that's definitely very intensive, and I would totally agree with you. Mr. Pilgrim, I would like to you to add on something to it. Would you like to share your opinion as well?
Thank you, Christina. Yeah, I totally agree with the doc for his submission. Indeed, when it comes to transparency, the issue of disclosure comes paramount, and that indeed entails that in terms of business communication, there should be a note to the recipient whether that content actually is AI generated or not. I think practically can also be, besides of course having the client service charters, we indicating the level of responsibilities of both parties, but also disclaimers are quite important in terms of disclosure. This can be embedded in email communications to actually show that that communication is not AI generated, or indeed is AI generated for the appreciation of the recipient. I think that is key as well. Additionally, we're talking of organization embedding client-friendly core values. We talk of embedding a high level of integrity in business communication that is embraced as by a company organization. It then does guide in terms of how the conduct should be. We're talking of embedding core values of responsibility, as well as fairness in our business communication. If these stand out as part of organization core values, then indeed we expect our level of interaction to be professional, to be clear, to be fair, and also ensure that there's a social touch to the business communication, other than organizations appearing as though the clients are talking to machines. There should be that social touch as well. Yeah, my submission. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your reply, Mr. Pilgrim. Yes, Orga?
Yeah, so perfectly said by Dr. Jaffet and very good that every professional should be keep in mind that there should be transparency to keep the ethical concern in mind, and always keep the client in contact whenever any kind of uh, building blocks occur in crafting the AI tools or in crafting any work with the help of AI, so that the client can also be aware that what are the things they are doing, the company, the organization is doing, so that there is a clear communication between those two, and that makes the transparency more enhanced, and that makes the ethical concern more improved, you can say. So this is the way, just reiterating their word. Right.
Absolutely. So with that, we'll move on to our next question that we have for our panelists. Give me a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Well, I'm not really much. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We
Okay.
can see it.
Yeah, I can see it right now. Okay, there was a little problem. Okay, so here we have the question. What ethical risks arise from using AI chatbots for communication? So that would be my question to Mr. Pilgrim. So would you like to take up that question, sir?
Thank you, Christina. Yeah, as highlighted earlier, in the introduction, yeah, a number of ethical risks, of course, arise, and we're talking risks generally, and these are things that we can anticipate to have an effect overall on the organization if AI is not properly handled or deployed. We can cite a number of risks. Of course, you've mentioned issues of privacy. Even when it comes to data storage, that's still a big question around that. As to whether organizations adhere to the prevailing regulatory framework in terms of data security, that of course depends on organization to organization, but that still remains a risk in that we've seen even in the past other organizations have even been sued because of privacy data leakages that indeed lead to private data in the public domain. So it's an area that calls for controls. We can talk of course, in terms of academics, issues of plagiarism, kind of an ethical academic work using artificial intelligence. But also when you talk of chatbots, there isn't much of human touch to communication. So again, that becomes an ethical risk. There's clients are robbed of a human touch in terms of sympathy, empathy. The chatbots are using trained data that may not really respond to situations where there's need for a human touch. We expect a chatbot to give maybe just straightforward, radical responses, and it's difficult to detect whether there's even in the expression there's an element of human consideration. So that for me is quite critical. If you ask a chatbot to apologize, as just an example, it's quite a dilemma, but if you ask a fellow human being to apologize, there's a totally different perspective to that. Yeah, so that entails that there's a lack of natural language understanding when it comes to artificial intelligence. It does processing language, but that natural language understanding is still lacking. In terms of faithfulness and factuality, again, those are issues that may come into the picture. AI can generate content that is close to true, but not true. Yeah. So that calls for consideration as we make use of chatbots. We see this common, of course, in day-to-day organization experiences where you have a call center, for example. Yeah, where you have a call center and clients are calling in. It's different from where you have a call center that is all focused on AI-generated responses. So and that's what I can say and I contribute to this particular question. Quite an important area, and I think it calls for all organizations, managers, certainly at a strategic level to ensure that our risk management frameworks are sound and that they do not they include rather the aspect of IT security, particularly artificial intelligence as such. Thank you.
Definitely, I totally agree with you. And your points on data leakage and plagiarism was definitely insightful. So I would like to pass on this question to Dr. Jaffat as well. So Dr. Jaffat, what do you think? Like, what could be the ethical risk? Is it really that important while using AI chatbots for communication?
Okay, thank you. I understand that the AI is a tool that in this current world we cannot go without with, but we need to be careful. Especially one of the risks is especially in issues of infodemics, outbreak of information. And this part of infodemics can be used by the hostile companies to erode the corporate niche. If this company produces products X, definitely the company Z can use the manipulation with the AI to destroy the corporate niche of company X. So this is an area that we have to be keen, especially when you want to regulate the use of AI. Another thing is when you go to the human sense, thanks, Prigim has highlighted well about the human sense, but there's another thing about the abuse and harassment at the level of human sense. We have been seeing that there's a duplication of the images of higher profile leaders trying to catch some information which is not true. And if this spreads over the world, that can give something else which is quite different from what we expect. And another thing about the generative AI, having it lacking the human sense. It is something that we cannot grasp the gesture of clients. When you sit closer to a client, you may not, you see the gesture, you see the eye movement, you see whatever. So it's easy. Not all clients see, of course, AI is very good for a phlegmatic personality, but we have sanguine personality, we have choleric personality, we have this what we call the melancholy personality. So if we have four personalities roomed into the AI, definitely some will miss some issues that because their livelihood depends on the human interaction. So it's also part source of stress if somebody doesn't get the human touch, the closeness to another human being, exchanging ideas. I doubt if we cannot, if we happen not to control the AI, I doubt if people have time to think on their own and be innovative on their own mind. If we because this is in machinery dependent. This is machinery dependent. If you allow me, I do submit.
Okay, that's definitely a very good answer, Dr. Japheth, and definitely I agree with you. It also depends on who uses the AI. We can actually create with something or even destroy with something. Okay, so AI is something like that. We can definitely do wonders with use of AI, but at the same time, there can be abuse of it. Okay, so yes, not just in business, but also in the society, this can be very much impactful. So with that, we will go to the next question. So over to you, Arga. Would you like to take up this question, please?
Yes, yes. So our next question, and it's very much important actually. So, how do you think that can AI reinforce workplace bias in communication? Do you think that AI can really take over workplace bias in communication, Dr. Jaffet?
Okay, thank you. I would like to venture into issues of quality. I understand that trying to control the human behavior that comes from different values, from different societies, you need something which is a uniform, like an ethical platform that everybody will have to conform with it. So with the AI, I believe can reinforce such human bias with respect to communication. I believe that. We can tally it with the quality. Another thing that I think is about the legal affiliation of AI. So for us to make sure that we reinforce the bias, we have to feed the variables that are in conformity with the objectives. First, the vision, the mission, the values, responsibilities, and objectives of the organization. If these are well fed, there won't be any bias so long as everybody will have to conform to such organization vision, objectives, and mission. I do submit. I submit.
How about you, Pilgrim? Yeah, yeah, thanks. What? How about you, Pilgrim?
Thank you, Aga. Yeah, yeah, indeed, quite a crucial area for consideration. And I do agree. Just but even before AI, we talking of workplace bias existing in a number of organizations. And I think human resource experts and other proponents of echo the need to try organizations to remove these biases in several areas of their operations. And I do agree with the doc's submission. And I agree to say organization values are very key even before AI. And so as AI comes on board, I do agree that yes, it can reinforce that bias. Let's not forget that this is it can be embedded in its training data, and this is what comes out because it's the input that is in the AI program that then results into in the output in terms of whatever assessment that it may convey. I want particularly to talk about uh, the reinforcement in terms of maybe certain stereotypes, marginalization of certain groups of people, for example. This can actually come from AI as well. You talk of, for example, recruitment processes, screening tools in terms of recruitment. If, for example, a company is aligned to recruiting females, it's very possible that AI can actually reinforce such kind of bias and ensure that the organization achieves what they want to achieve. So it's all about having properly structured strategic vision, as well as a way of sustaining your organization such that you do not be perceived to be an organization that is biased. So one of the issues that can be done is actually having, for example, in the case that I've given in terms of recruitment screening tools, there are various that are on the market that are AI based. You can actually ensure that you have some human reviews embedded in that process. There's need for human reviews as opposed to just going by the results, selections that are done through artificial intelligence. Such will help to detect any form of bias and have such removed, and the organization then remains accountable and responsive to the needs of the clients. My submission. Thank you.
Well said, actually. Christina, you any thoughts on this you would like to add?
Well, I definitely agree with our panelists. Okay, AI bias in communication can definitely be impactful because we cannot blindly trust on what AI provides us. So yes, definitely a human check is required on how the results are coming out, and definitely the overseeing is important. It's very crucial, in fact.
Yes, but I think the
So with that,
human
can we
touch,
move
the
to the next question?
creativity.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, Organ.
I think the human touch, creativity, skills that every human have is required. AI is just a tool that can help the workplace to improve their productivity. Uh, that I guess is more important rather than keeping AI as a employee or as a human. Human being is there to keep their skills and their creative nature. Yeah, you can move to the next question.
Sure. So here we have the next question, please.
Okay. So the fourth question is, should AI generated content be considered the voice of the company? A very important question.
Yes,
Dr. Jaffer, what do you think of this?
many of our audiences have asked this, that does this impact the decision making of the business as well? So
Yes,
I think this is a very crucial
very
one.
in decision making and in everything. So what do you
Yeah.
think, Dr. Jaffer? Do you think that AI generated content?
Yes. I think it takes me back to a big question that I've been asking myself after the previous question, that who has to set the standard that this is the standard for an organization, and this standard should not have bias, because setting a standard, probably standard has come with bias, then it will be continued throughout the tree of the operation of the corporate group. So coming back to this question, should AI generated content be considered the voice of the company? My answer is yes and no. Yes, when it happens that we have defined the variables of all the derivatives of the mission of the organization, the ET values operationalized, then these have been defined in the AI tool. We can say yes, because whatever is generated from that context definitely will speak about the company, because you have ring-fenced the variables within the tool of the organization. With this, I can say the answer is yes. The answer is no, when you have not defined the variables of what has been fed in the tool of AI that has to define the direction or roadmap of the organization. Then we cannot use the content. It will be considered as the voice of the company. I do so.
Well said. Pilgrim, any thought? What do you like to suggest? Do AI generated content considered to be the voice of the company?
Thank you, Aga. Yeah, and yeah, thank you, Dr. Jaffet, for your submission. Yeah, indeed, this is a question that may not just have a straightforward answer, no or yes. It depends on a number of factors, like Dr. Jaffet has actually alluded to. So we have certain types of communications that are quite clear and call for just succinct answers, and that can give information, provide information to clients or our customers that we're communicating with. For example, if we're using a chatbot and the answers is either a no or yes, and as Dr. Jaffet has put it, the company has already looked at this and indeed has a standard, and they're able to provide that answer. Surely, in that case, it becomes a voice of the company because the answer is either a no or yes. But certain questions, certain responses, communications that are quite that call for analysis, that call for consideration before responding. An example would be where you issuing a public statement as an organization due to a certain happening. I think in that case it would be a no. And it then calls for a more responsible way of handling it. For example, having a communications unit or specialist within the organization provide that response, as opposed to the use of AI. So yeah, a number of considerations should be set. And of course, each organization is expected to have a communication strategy in place to ensure that there is what is going out there, whether it's to the clients, whether it's to other stakeholders. Remember, the other stakeholders in the internal organization internally, as well as the external environment. And managing these stakeholders call for a lot of tact. It calls for proper responses. And also just knowing the level of these stakeholders. For example, if you are managing a project, it means that you need to understand how you respond to them. If something has to be dictated to say you need to respond through in writing, you may not use a chatbot, for example. So that indeed it calls for a number of considerations, a case by case issue. But question would be, even to the panelists, is to the attendees, would be what strategy has organization put in place in terms of communication? What kind of issues do you need to communicate, and to who? I think those questions and answers need to be provided. Yeah, my submission. Thank you.
Christina, what do you think? Should AI generated content
Well,
should be considered?
I would totally disagree because AI still isn't not very perfect now, and especially when we are talking about the ethical concerns, which is very crucial. So I wouldn't consider that AI should be a part of the considered as the voice of the company. So definitely, right now at least, we should be limited only to automating the work rather than bringing AI in decision making. So that would be my
Rather
stand
than
actually.
being dependent, yeah, rather than
Yes.
being dependent, I would won't say that we shouldn't be totally depending on it. Bringing the foundation first, then based on that, building the AI tool or the content. What based on that, doing some prototyping decision. If the decisions are well aligned with the result, then there is some chances that we can assign some task which can be the voice of the company, but in the future stage, not in the initial stage. There has to be some prototyping work in the initial stage to understand whether it is actually worth the effort of making the decision making in that stage. So it depends. First has to be some technical groundwork has to be done. Then this stage will be coming in the future.
Right,
Uh,
right. Hopefully, in future, AI will be more reliable.
Yeah, yeah, it will be reliable because data are coming, so
Hmm.
it will be reliable. Okay, so can you go to the next slide?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so based on today's discussion, what we actually get to understand that there has to be a disclosure to inform the user or the stakeholders that their AI is being used, keeping the stakeholders or the client in loop that we are using this time the AI, we are using the AI tool at this time, keeping the data of both the clients and the stakeholders data in protection, keeping their consent, always do a AI audit tool check so that any kind of data leaking doesn't happen. It always stay in protected, encrypted. So always AI tool auditing should be done. And lastly, we need to also understand that everyone is accountable to humans. They are only tools. So human skills, human creativity is the only things that has to be taken care of. They are just tools doing automated work, doing uh, the work more efficiently, doing the work in a improved manner. And the person who is using the tool has to be well aware that the result that is coming should be very much authentic rather than a jibber jabber results. So the human should be always aware of that AI tool that he is using. Right. So these are the framework that has to be done while doing the business communication with the clients, so that the clients can also consider the ethical consideration and keep the company or the organization in loop, so that everything stay in touch and everything stay in one place. Can you go to the next slide, please? So I would like to ask Dr. Jaffet first, and followed by Pilgrim, that what is your key takeaway from the ethical consideration if AI is a tool used in the business or any organization? What would you, how would you like to conclude today's discussion?
Please, can you come again, please?
So, how would you like to conclude today's discussion that how ethical consideration has to be taken care of when keeping AI tools in loop and the client on the other hand? So, what suggestion will you give?
Thank you. Thank you. I think I'm not giving a conclusive remarks, but a conclusive impression. Yeah, I can say that when you start an organization or any corporate body, you you begin with the end at the beginning. Firstly, think of AI from the first inception to the end. And you have to ask yourself a question. When you delete something from your electronic gadget, where does that thing go? Does it go to the cloud? Where does it go? Just think about it. How, how are we not sure that it is captured by the AI and programmed into other sense of a machinery nature? So conclusively, I can say that for any organization to embrace the use of AI, the legal and AI framework should be in place, and it should be complex and inclusive in a nature that AI is under evolution. I do submit.
Arga, you're on mute.
Sorry. So thank you, Dr. Jeffrey. That was a great response. And Pilgrim, what do you say? How will you conclude that if AI is a tool and ethics is all has to be considered, what suggestion will you give to the organizations so that the ethical consideration always has to be prioritized?
Thank you, Aga. Yeah, indeed. questions around ethics are very key, and it does speak to the level of integrity and transparency of the organization. And as said, this should be a strategic matter for any organization. Indeed, it should be embedded in terms of organizational values, and ensure that there's a total compliance in terms of the governing frameworks. This strategic move then assists organizations to stay afloat, avoid risks that can even lead to litigations, and so provide for sustainability, goodwill for the organization. So indeed, I would be an advocate, even my organization, to ensure that this is adhered to. On the other side, is realizing to say innovation is the lifeblood of business. So we cannot then, because of ethical concerns, as organizations avoid artificial intelligence. Instead, is to build controls around its use, ensure that our risk management frameworks are sound, and that we're able to provide for these controls and track to ensure that there are no happenings around those risks. So issues of fairness, data integrity are non-negotiable, and indeed we ought to ensure that staff are oriented. There are orientation sessions for staff using AI in the organization, so they can make professional use of AI as such. My submission.
So we have some questions from the attendees, and any one of you can answer those questions. So first question is, how does AI contribute to crisis communication and help reshaping the reputation management in line with organizational ethical standard? Dr. Jaffet or Pilgrim, any one of you can answer.
Would you rephrase it, please?
Yeah, so saying that how does AI contribute to any crisis communication and help reshaping the reputation management when within the alignment of organizational ethical standard?
Okay.
So
I
does AI
understand. Yes,
Yeah,
because
please go ahead.
okay, thank you. Managing risks starts from the inception of establishment of the particular corporate body or organization. This is where you start establishing the risk framework. So after defining such the variables being prototyped and being fed into the tool you want to use, definitely that will help you guide in crisis management, because you'll have fed all the variables designed to be for the organization. Then the AI tool will help you manage the crisis, because it will also predict some issues ahead with respect to the learning and ongoing of the organization, because you will allow the AI to visit the data of your organization and try to populate and aggregate and do the analysis that will give you the predictive values to what can happen in the future. I do submit.
Great. Actually, that does sound actual. That's a good answer actually. Based on the risk assessment, the crisis communication has to be provided, and in that case, AI will contribute to some extent. Another question I would like to ask Pilgrim, that what major disadvantage do you find in AI in current business world?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
If I may approach that. Okay. Bring them to you.
Thanks, Dr. Japheth. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
yes, you are audible.
Yeah, I think the question is focusing on the dangers that we see in AI currently. I think for me, what comes out is the perception that the clients, customers, are not really communicating with a human touch. And because of that, there's generally a bit of mistrust in terms of the kind of information that they get, as opposed to having this relayed through a human agent. So yeah, it's acceptance issues for organizations internally and externally. I think even when it comes to customer support, people are used to maybe having a call or a chat with a human agent than machine. So there's this feeling about it. So meaning that organizations need to do more in terms of sensitization and as of course making a proper use of AI ethically to build confidence as a tool, of course. The other challenge, of course, is there's a knowledge gap in terms of use of AI, even in organizations. In terms of training, organizations need to do more if we have to move on the same trajectory as such. And I think webinars like these are quite important to just build that confidence and provide the necessary tools and know-how. I submit.
Okay. So, so going to the end of the discussion. So, when ethics is a priority, so it's not optional. It has to be prioritized. It is always has to be considered. So what we can do is we can transform the communication, AI communication, without misleading the ethical concern. Uh, Along with that, what we can do is we can just set a proper guideline and along with human side, so that we can use the AI tools or any AI responsibly. We need to be totally transparent, fair, and data integrity should be there so that the data leakage do not occur. Transparency with communication always there to make the AI tool more improved. And lastly, there should be professional who who should be the ethical gatekeeper of uh, you can say auditing the AIs, so that any kind of mishappening with AI shouldn't occur in the organization. Doing these steps, what will happen is the company can keep the ethics on priority, taking the AI also in concern. So thank you everyone, and just to let you know that you will be getting this entire discussion in the within a YouTube platform. Along with that, the certificates also will be shared in the registered email ID. Christina, you can continue with the last slides. Thank you, Dr. Jaffet. Thank you, Pilgrim,
Thank you.
for giving us
Cheers.
the insight and
Thank you, Aga.
giving
Mr.
us your
Christina.
experiences. What do you think when ethics is considered, when AI is also a priority? So thank you once again for being a part of this live discussion. Thank you. Christina, you can continue.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Japheth and Mr. Pilgrim. Your insights will be very helpful for our audiences as well. Thank you again.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So
and
next,
have a good
moving
day.
on, it's about us. We are Uni Athena, and we are an EdTech platform. And as you can see, Uni Athena is an EdTech organization offering online free learning upskilling courses and affordable academic degree programs in a flexible manner. And we have been founded in the year 2019. Uniathena is owned by the renowned Westford Ventures, generally known as Westford Education Group, operating since the 2008 in higher education sector. Now, these are our accreditation partners. So apart from short courses, we do have master degrees, MBAs. So there are more than 600 plus courses, 10 plus academic partners, and we have more than 4 million learners, and who have been coming from more than 146 countries. So we have a global student base. So, and here, as you can see on the screen, they are our academic partners, right from Urbate and UCAM and Unimarconi, CMI. You can see all of them on the screen. So we have the certifications coming from these affiliated universities. And this is about us and our learning philosophy, basically. So why do you need to choose Uniathena? You will get an answer in this. So firstly, the payment is very flexible. So you don't pay all the entire amount together, which will be a huge investment. So you pay as you progress into the course. And next, it's completely online. So the video tutorials can be watched online, and also the reading materials can be accessed online, as well as it can be downloaded. Okay, so they are stackable. And apart from that, we have webinars, workshops conducted online. So that actually, covers all your needs. And next, it is self-paced. So considering all our learning professionals, okay, so most of them are like working professionals. So catering to your busy schedule. So we have designed the portal in a way so that your learning is self-paced. You learn at your own convenience. Okay, so there is no fixed time. However, we would always advise you to have a consistency in your learning. And next, the accredited university partner. So as you have seen in the previous slide, we have more than 10 plus accrediting partner, and which are renowned globally from different countries. And about the personal tutor, so everyone who gets enrolled with us, okay, gets a personal tutor who assists you online, okay, for all your queries and your concerns related to your course, the portal access and your assignments, could be anything. You will have your personal tutor by your side, okay, who will be guiding you throughout the course, okay. And the course is entirely divided into modules, so that makes it very much consumable, and it's not very much overwhelming. So you get actually the entire curriculum is divided into modules. Moving ahead, so here we have something about our online short courses. So we have more than 600 plus courses. So that gives you an endless learning opportunity with a wide variety of topics at your fingertips. And there are 20 plus domains, so you can explore the fields. So whichever field you want, like right from technology to business to creative arts, you can expand your skill set. Okay, so you just have to dive into it. And next, it is free to learn. So the short courses many of them are free to learn. So you can access high quality education at no cost. There is no hidden fees and just pure knowledge. And next, about the 5 learning levels. So whether you are just someone who's just beginning to explore some domain, or you are looking to advance your skills, or you wanted to have a proper master degree, we can cater to every stage of your learning journey. And next, about your professional certificates, like many of them have this question. So you will get your industry recognized credential to enhance your resume and boost your career prospects. So these certificates are recognized. Okay, so many of our learners are working professionals, so this will definitely be an add-on to your resume. And about the learning part, so the entire curriculum, as I said earlier, they are modular, and the entire curriculum is divided into units, and it is generally bite-sized. So it is flexible, and it is on-the-go lesson designed to fit into your busy schedule. So it is not very overwhelming. It just takes a few minutes of the video and some minutes of the reading material. So it makes it very much flexible and effective as well. So that is about to give you a brief of our short courses. And how do we support each stage of your career? So now it all depends on what you want, and we have you covered. So if you just want to know about the basics of a domain, so we have a 4 to 6 hour course. So just to give you a core idea about the fundamental concepts of the domain of the subject area, okay, you can choose this, and it is perfect for people who just want to brush up their knowledge, or who wants to have a basic idea of a particular subject. You can definitely go for this. And next we have essentials, which is of a 6 to 9 hour course. So if you want to move ahead, okay, so you want to dive deeper into some essential concepts and theories, you can definitely opt for this course. And this is for people who have the basic idea and want to move ahead to, to gain more knowledge. Now here is a 1 week course, which is to achieve top level expertise and practical skills from industry experts. And it is aimed for individuals eager to lead and excel in their professional field. So you can definitely opt for this course. And there is 1 to 2 weeks diploma. Okay, so it is about you'll get a specialized certification and practical skills in your domain. So if you're looking for something like that, you can definitely opt for it. And it is ideal for those who are looking to elevate their career with specific employable skills. Okay, so these are generally 1 to 2 weeks, so that is very short. And as the nature of the course is, it is self-paced and it is very much flexible, so that would definitely be suitable for you. And about the executive diploma, which is a 2 to 3 weeks course. So this will give you a more detailed understanding of the domain. It is broad and in-depth programs of for executives to gain comprehensive practical skills, and it is ideal for senior professionals looking to accelerate their careers without compromising personal and professional obligations. Now, so if you are someone who's looking to master business communication, so we have some of our handpicked courses for you. So here they are. To begin with, there's an executive diploma in business communication, and we have next a basics of business communication. And if you're going to want to move ahead, okay, you can take up the mastering cross-culture business communication, or you can take up diploma, that is a diploma in business administration. And you also have essentials of group communication, and then you have diploma in artificial intelligence, which is very much essential for today, and basics of artificial intelligence. And then you have MBA essentials with artificial intelligence. And lastly, we have mastering ChatGPT. So here you have some of our learner testimonials. You can see what they have mentioned. This is by Levison McKay. So here we have another. We're really glad that we were able to help our learners. So that's from Georgie Nirondu. Okay. So if you have any questions related to our courses, you can just write in the chat box or in the question and answer session.
We have already addressed the questions, so we can end this discussion.
Okay, that works.
I have.
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah. So here we have our contact details. So if you're interested in our courses, so you can take down this admission inquiry email ID and the phone number, and our team will reach out to you. You can take a screenshot of this. And thank you everyone for joining. This was a really wonderful session, and your presence makes all the difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for
Christine.
joining. Thank you, Dr. Jafet.
Thank you. Thank you, Aga.
Thank you so much.
Christina,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.